Welcome back to another team preview. I'm Casey Campbell, coming to you live from the Chair of Knowledge. We're always joined by Jonathan Fjeld from the Racing Experts. How's it going? It's now time to preview Trackhouse Racing.
Not colleague? Oh man.
We did that
Yes.
the last one.
Not Ganassi? Oh wait.
Oh, I mean, they still have an IndyCar team and an IMSA team.
That's true.
Yep.
If we're branching out, you know what I mean? No, it's going good. Trackhouse, this is an exciting team coming up for 2022. Got some great talent. Justin Marks, who's looking to make Nashville into NASVille, NASCAR, NASFast, whatever he's calling it. He's looking to make it the NASCAR town. So this is an exciting team that we're previewing.
Smashville. Well, that's a Predators thing. So the hockey team down there, if you didn't know. So let's talk about Trackhouse Racing for a second. I know they've made some big splashes. Yes, they've purchased Chip Ganassi Racing. Yes, they have their shop. Yes, they're 2 cars now. Yes, they've mostly hired all the Ganassi employees. But let's talk about them, just to recap from last year. How do you think they did in their first year, Jonathan?
You know, they had a good start to the season because we saw Suarez running really well at Bristol Dirt, at Atlanta, at Nashville. You know, there's some really good races there for that team Trackhouse. I thought that their performance dropped off in the second half of the season, whether it was different issues they had mechanically or just didn't have very good runs. But overall, it was a solid start to the season. I think a lot of people, including myself, thought that Trackhouse was going to be kind of a, are these guys even going to contend for the top 30 in points? Like, how are these guys going to do? Like, are they serious? Obviously, this season that we just saw out Trackhouse confirmed that, yes, these guys have good performance. They're serious. Suarez is going to be a mainstay in the Cup Series for a while.
Let's talk about Daniel Suarez for a second, because, he's coming off. Probably this is the team that the team basically built around Daniel Suarez. And now I think this is a year where he can finally go get his first win. Is that a full statement to you?
I think that's a fair assessment. Suarez ran pretty well, like I mentioned, in many races. And I think this season, just with the next gen car, with a really concentrated effort of you have Ganassi's guys and Team Trackhouse, all coming together. This is going to be a good season for Suarez. I said to somebody not that long ago that I think Suarez could easily end his career with maybe 10 wins and stay in the Cup Series for 10 to 12 seasons. I think this is going to be the start to that. I think you're going to see some stuff out of Suarez this season.
That's a big bold prediction there, bud. So yeah, I mean, you look at Travis Mack, you kind of just mentioned it there. Of course, Travis Mack is crew chief. What do we expect out of Daniel Suarez this year, and where do you think he needs to perform better?
I think we could expect to see Daniel Suarez getting his first win this season. I really do. I think he's a talented enough driver. He's got a team behind him, surrounding him. We saw him in the Xfinity Series, where the season where he won his championship, he beat Kyle Busch to get his first ever win at Michigan. It was a strong run he had. He won the championship after running well at Homestead. I really think with the right conditions, which I think Suarez has right now, he could be a good driver. I think this season we could see him making the playoffs, possibly with a win or two, possibly even pointing his way into the playoffs, because I think just with such a expanded competitiveness in the Cup Series this season, it's going to be a lot about consistency and not making mistakes. And Suarez is a very clean and consistent driver.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Ross Chastain for a second. Yes, he comes over from Ganassi. Phil Surgeon once again is crew chief from last year when he was with Chip Ganassi Racing, but now they're under the Trackhouse brand. And Ross Chastain had a pretty strong end to his 2021 season. How do you think the new one team does in 2022?
The new one team, yeah, that's different to see. Chastain, of course, he ran the 42 last season. That went over to Ty Dillon and back to the Petties. Kind of cool to see that too. But yeah, I think Chastain, especially with the package they're running, this could be a pretty good season for Chastain because we saw some of his best performances at Nashville, at Darlington, at Richmond, at Phoenix. Came with the 750 horsepower package. And now this season, most of the races are going to be run with 650 horsepower thereabout and low downforce. This is going to be I think we could see Chastain. He could reel off a win or two. Consistency wise, I think we still need to see that out of Ross Chastain. He's a very aggressive driver. He can go for the wins. He can do, great things when he gets in those positions, but we haven't quite seen him as like that consistent driver yet. This could be the season where we start to see it. I don't think he could point his way into the playoffs like his teammate Suarez could, but we could see him win a race or two.
That could be something to definitely watch. Ross Chastain's going to be definitely one to watch this year. Okay, let's talk about all the off-track stuff with Trackhouse because Pitbull's in this organization. You got Justin Marks, and now they're going to try to move all the way to Nashville. What do you think Trackhouse has done and what do you think what impact it has had on NASCAR?
Yeah, I don't think we fully felt it yet. I think it still has to come. And, I just said all that stuff about Suarez and Chastain and having their good runs and whatnot. There might be some growing pains too with them moving, being in Nashville, being away from the Charlotte area, that ecosystem, especially with the way the Cup Series is this year, where it's a lot about buying the parts, a lot of, outreach instead of things that are done internally. That could be something that plagues Trackhouse at first, but in the long run, just with everything we've seen that's happening in Nashville with NASCAR, the Nashville Super Speedway coming on the Cup Series schedule, the Xfinity Series schedule, trucks, and a lot of the movement with the Nashville Fairgrounds, the award ceremony going there. It's something to kind of entice NASCAR to say this area is worth something. This area is growing, and I think in the long term we could see how Trackhouse's place there, because they've even said in the past they want to be more than just a team that's based in Nashville. They want to be, somebody who's in the community, somebody who really makes it a hub for NASCAR. So it remains to be seen what's going to happen, but it could be something interesting that we'll have to continue to watch on the preview show.
Yes, definitely. All right.
Definitely.
Let's talk about Trackhouse as a whole. How do you think they will do in 2022?
Would not surprise me if we see two drivers who win this season contend for the playoffs. I think Suarez could easily get a playoff spot, with consistent points, consistently earning good points days. I know they hate to hear that nowadays in NASCAR. A win or two. Chastain, I think he could reel off a win or two. The big thing, I think, with Trackhouse this season is just minimizing mistakes, because Suarez, we saw some good performance, but there were a lot of mistakes, mechanical woes, and different things that took them out of any sort of playoff contention. Same with Chastain as well. Minimizing mistakes, being more consistent. If they can do that, I think they have two very solid playoff contending teams for this season. What do you think, Casey?
I think we're going to see, I agree with you. I think we're going to see a lot of things out of Trackhouse this year. Daniel Suarez will win. Ross Chastain will win as well. Yeah, I said it. Both Trackhouse cars will win this year.
Ooh, going out on a limb. I like it.
I guess so. Might have to change my my playoff grid a little bit.
Ooh, okay.
We'll think about it. Maybe I didn't have any of the Trackhouse cars in, but with this next gen car, who knows?
Who knows?
All right. That's going to do it for this team preview. Please stay tuned for more team previews as we get closer to the NASCAR season.